Hour 45 minutes.
Hey, what's the page? We like
Maybe some good ones.
all we need, baby.
Every Saturday.
I mean, right? What is right? Yep. Had a whole room, I know. Had a whole room set up for it. Oh, newcomers.
No, not that. Not the newcomers. Somebody who can teach every Saturday. Every person, every Saturday. Every single just be a different spin. A little different spin.
All right, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's get ready to pray in. We ain't gonna keep everybody long. About 25 minutes tops, and we up out of here. That's it. You know it's hot. You know. We're in and out. It's a run to the corner store. We go in, we get what we need, we come right out. You know? We ain't grocery shopping today. You know.
Yeah, somebody grab a knife.
All right. All minds clear? This is Deuteronomy, or Devarim, chapter 6, at verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael.
Yahuwah Eloheinu.
Yahuwah Eloheinu.
Yahuwah Echad.
Yahuwah Echad.
This is Exodus, or Shemot, chapter 20, at verse 3. We will have no other mighty ones.
We will have no other mighty ones.
Against the Most High.
Against the Most High.
We will not make any carved image.
We will not make any carved image.
Or any likeness.
Or any likeness.
Of that which is in Shamaim above.
Of that which is in Shamaim above.
Or which is in the earth beneath.
Or which is in the earth beneath.
Or which is in the waters under the earth.
Or which is in the waters under the earth.
We will not bow down to them.
We will not bow down to them.
Nor serve them.
Nor serve them.
For Yahuwah El.
For Yahuwah El.
Is a jealous
Is
thing.
a jealous thing.
Visiting the wicked.
Visiting the wicked.
Of the fathers on the children.
Of the fathers on the children.
To the third and fourth generation.
To the third and fourth generation.
Of those that hate him.
Those that hate him.
And showing kindness.
Showing kindness.
To thousands of those.
Thousands of
Who
those.
love him.
Who love him.
And keep his commandments.
And keep his commandments.
We will not bring the name.
We will not bring the name.
Yahuwah El.
Yahuwah
To
El.
nothing.
To nothing.
For Yahuwah
Yahuwah
will not leave us unpunished.
will not leave us
Who
unpunished.
brings his name to nothing.
Who brings his name to nothing.
We will remember the Shabbat day.
We will remember the Shabbat
To
day.
keep it Kodesh.
Keep your day.
6 days we will labor
6 days we will labor.
and do all our work.
Do all our
But
work.
the seventh day
The seventh day
is the Shabbat.
is the Shabbat.
Yahuwah El.
Yahuwah
For
El.
in 6 days,
For in 6 days,
Yahuwah made Shamaim
Yahuwah made Shamaim
and the earth
and the earth
and the sea
and the sea
and all that is in them.
and all that is in them.
And rested the seventh day.
And rest the seventh day.
Therefore, Yahuwah will rock the Shabbat day.
Therefore, Yahuwah will rock the Shabbat
We
day.
will respect our
We
fathers
will respect our fathers
and our mothers,
and our
so
mothers.
that our days are long
So that our days are long
upon the earth.
upon the earth.
We will not murder.
We will not
We
murder.
will not commit adultery.
We will not commit adultery.
We will not steal.
We will not steal.
We will not bear false witness
We will not bear false witness
against our neighbor.
against our
We
neighbor.
will not covet
We will not covet
anything
anything
that is our neighbor.
that is our neighbor. Father, Yah, we thank you for this day, for this set apart day, Father. The Shabbat, Father, so we can show our obedience unto your word, Father. We thank you for every person that's gathered here today, Father. We pray that each and every person be edified according to your word, Father. We who will abide with us this day, Father, and give us enlightenment, Father, according to your scriptures, Father. We pray that you would give utterance unto the speaker and understanding unto the hearer, so that we all may be doers of your word. Father, we pray for every soul who is on their way, Father, to allow them to make it here safely. And these and all things we pray.
Shabbat shalom. How y'all feeling this week? Everybody good? Everybody done cooled down a little bit?
Yeah.
Great. Because I prepared a lesson based on how hot it was, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be real quick, you know what I mean? I thought it was going to be a scorcher, you know? But we're going to get into it. How important are vineyards when it comes to the scriptures? How important are vineyards, vineyards, vineyards?
I can tell in mind. What's a vineyard, Trav?
Well, we're going to get into that. Do anybody know what a vineyard is? I ain't going to find what answer. A vineyard? Yes. Yes, it is spoken of in reward ways. Right? What is a regular vineyard? Get Genesis 9:1 right quick. Genesis 9:1 right quick. Right quick.
Genesis chapter 9 and verse 1.
Yeah.
And Elohim brought Noah and his sons, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, and upon all and upon all that move upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat.
All right, drop down to verse 20.
Verse 20. And Noah began to be a husband.
What's a husbandman? Like a farmer, a gardener, right? So he began to be a husbandman, and he planted a what?
And he planted a vineyard.
Right? Keep reading.
And he drank of the wine.
All right, he drank of the what?
The wine.
So what is a vineyard? A garden, right? That produces fruits, but more so grapes, right? So when we're talking about vineyards in the scriptures, it's mentioned a lot of times, over and over again. This man planted a vineyard. The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man that had a vineyard, and all of these different type of things, right? The children of Israel are also known as a vineyard, right? So when you're growing a garden or a vineyard, what do you expect to happen with this vineyard? Produce fruit, right? Well, I went through this lesson about the fig tree. Y'all remember that, right? I was talking about how those fig trees looked like they were growing the figs, but when you get up close to it, there wasn't no figs on it, so he chopped it down, right? Okay. This particular lesson, we're going to be dealing with vine trees, all right? Anybody ever seen a vine tree? An actual vine tree. V-I-N-E. Vine trees. Right? What it look like? Branches look like vines. Okay. Okay. Anything else specific about a vine tree? Get grapes on it. What else? The leaves are close together. What is it doing? It's like covering the actual tree itself, right? Okay. Get John chapter 5, verse 39. Go into a scripture last week. Something that Mashiach said, and it stuck out because, like he said, when we're talking about studying the scriptures, we got to understand that a part of that principle is that he's written of throughout the whole thing, right? Okay. John 5 and 39, when you get it.
The book of John, chapter 5, and verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life.
So he says, do what now?
For in them, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life.
So the key principle, like Doc brought out last week, is to search the scriptures. Since last week, has anybody did it? Like went in and actually searching. You're looking for Mashiach, you're looking for salvation, right? Say search it. That's the whole goal. A lot of what we're going to talk about today as far as this is, you got to spend more time dealing with the word. The less time you spend with the word, the more time you spend with the world. No matter how strong you think you are in the faith, you won't hold up. You won't hold up. So it says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you what?
For in them you think you have eternal life. And they are they which testify of me.
Which means eternal life comes through who? Mashiach. Period. Like you thinking that if you keep the law, follow the law to what your standard is of the law, and don't believe in him, that you're going to be good, it don't work like that, right? You need both, to the law and to the testimony, right? So it says, and then you think you have eternal life, but they are they which what?
Which testify of me.
They are they which testify of him. That's what we're searching for. Romans 15 and 4.
The book of Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
So the things that were written what?
Aforetime.
The stuff that was written before was written for what?
Were written for our learning.
For our what?
For our learning.
That's another reason why you got to search the scriptures. Right? In order for you not to just bump your head or run into that tree with them little vines on it, you might want to ask your mama about that tree out there. Oh, what type of tree is that? Oh, no, baby, that's a sticky bush. You don't want to touch that. Instead of you just going and grabbing the sticky bushes and you running in there bleeding, crying to your mama. Right? So he says, search the scriptures. Right? Then he says that these scriptures is written for your learning. Read.
That we through patience.
Through what?
Through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
That we through patience and comfort of those same scriptures that we supposed to be searching, that we might have hope when it comes to this salvation. Right? Now, let's do something. Let's go to John. Actually, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 15. We're going to pick it up at verse 1. So now the children of Israel, this vineyard, right? That the Most High planted, right? He said he separated us from all the sons of Adam. Matter of fact, before you get that, get Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Go to your favorite joint, Adam. Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. For you are a set apart people.
You are what type of people?
Set apart people.
You are set apart people. Right? As it's saying there, holy people. We know that means set apart, but you different. Read.
Unto Yahuwah, your Elohim. Yahuwah, your Elohim, have chosen you to be a special people.
He chose who?
Chosen you to be a special people.
He chose you. That means something to you? So if the God of the universe, the most high of all creation chose you, if he came to you specifically and said, hey, I choose you, how do you act in that regard? Is it different than us reading it now? If he actually came to you and said, hey man, I chose you for my mission, are you going to act any differently now than you do at this current state? Thinking about everything that you do in your life, how you maneuver. If he came to you one-on-one and say, hey, I choose you for my mission. This is what I want you to do. Now walk it out. Are you going to move differently than how you do right now? Should be. But are you going to move differently? Yeah. All right. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Good thing that you'll move differently, right? But should you be moving like that right now? The stuff that was written aforetime was written for our what? So he already coming to you, telling you right here, I've chosen who? You to be a chosen people, to be set apart. Right? A perverse generation seek after a sign. Right? So he already telling you through his word. Read. Verse 6.
Above all, from the top.
Yep.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For you are a set apart people unto Yahuwah your Elohim. Yahuwah your Elohim have chosen you to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Go ahead.
Yahuwah did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people. For you were the fewest of all people. But because Yahuwah loved you.
Because he did what?
Because he loved you.
He set that on you because he loved you. He loved you before you even knew it. Right? So again, this all-powerful God, this all-powerful Most High of all creation is telling you, hey, brother, hey, sister, you the one. Don't think about how much money you make. Don't think about all of your mishaps. Don't think about all the stuff that you got going on that you feel inferior because of. I chose you because I love you. Right? So now when I'm moving forward, I'm going, oh man, he chose me. I don't feel like I'm nothing, but he chose me. I got to make sure I make him happy. Right? In Ezekiel chapter 15. A lot of us take for granted the fact that he chose us, though. A lot of us take it for granted. Like I say, we that vineyard, right? Well, get John 15 and 1. Before you read that Ezekiel 15, get John 15 and 1. We looking at it like, all right, he chose us. We the people. We good, right? I know I got to keep the commandments. I know I got to make sure that I'm not falling off this way, that way. But we just admitted that we would act differently or move differently if he came to us specifically by ourselves, right? We got to be maneuvering that way now. John 15 and 1.
John chapter 15 and verse 1. I am the true vine.
Mashiach says that he is the what?
True vine.
He is the true vine. And what?
And my Father is the husbandman.
And his father is the what now?
Is the farmer or husbandman.
Now we see in Genesis chapter 9, verse 20, it says that Noah began to be a husband, right? This is when there was pretty much nothing there. Pretty much desolate. I mean, you had some trees growing, you know what I'm saying? But he had to tame it. He had to make sure that it was growing in the way that it should to produce fruits for them to eat, right? So he says that I am the true vine and my Father is the what?
Husbandman.
Go ahead.
Every branch.
Every what?
Every branch.
So if he's the vine, that means that we're the
branches.
We're the branches, right? Go ahead.
In me that beareth not fruit.
Every branch that don't what?
Beareth not fruit.
That don't bear fruit. Go ahead.
He taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it bring forth more fruit.
So he's gonna prune it, right? He's gonna dress it up. He's gonna take care of it, that it keep building fruit, right? Ezekiel chapter 15 and verse 1.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 15 and verse 1. And the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is the vine tree more than any tree?
He said, he asked you a question. What is the vine tree more than any other tree? Right? Could you answer that? Yeah, like he's asking a question. He said, what is the vine tree more than any other tree? Anybody know the answer? It's supposed to be a special tree. Okay. Supposed to be a tree to produce fruit. Anything else? Let's see. Because remember, the Most High is the husbandman. He planted us. Well, he planted Mashiach. Mashiach planted us. All right? But go ahead.
What is the vine tree more than any tree? Or than a branch which is among the trees of the forest?
So he said, or what is it more than any branch that's among the rest of the trees? What's the difference between the branch on the vine tree and all the rest of the branches on the other trees? Remember, we just talking about the vine and the branches. We the branches, he the vine. He said, what's the difference between this branch here on this vine tree and the rest of the branches? Right? What would you like to say? It produce fruit. We got apple trees.
I say,
It covers, protects.
water. I believe they store water in them, I think.
Other trees do too. All of them are like hydroponic? I forget the word that is used. They're geoponic and hydroponic, meaning geoponic or ponic, however you say that word, means that they grow apart from the earth, right? So any tree that you see is going to grow upward. Hydroponic or ponic means that it's going to bring in water from the roots, right? So the way that it grows is it sucks in the water from the roots, and that way it can spread out into the branches. When it spread out into the branches can produce the actual fruit that's on the trees or the leaves that's on the trees. So I don't know if you ever notice if people cut down the tree, you got water that's coming out of the tree still. You know what I'm saying? On most trees, depending on where it's located, right? When it's a dead tree, it's because it's what? What's not in it? No water in it, no blood. They call the water of the tree the blood, right? So there ain't no blood in it, right? So a lot of the trees got moisture in it, you know what I'm saying? Vines hold water as well. Well, go ahead and read that out from the top again. So he said, what is the vine tree different than all the other trees? What is the branch different than all the other branches? Go ahead.
Verse 3. Shall wood be taken thereof to do any work?
He said, shall wood be taken from the vine tree to do any work? Anybody ever cut down a vine tree to say, hey, I'm going to build a house? No. He never took no vines and say, oh, man, yeah, I'm about to make this little shed now with this. He never did that. Read.
Behold, it is cast into the fire.
What?
It is cast into the fire for fuel.
Uh-huh.
The fire devours both the ends of it, and the midst of it is burned.
Mm-hmm.
Is it meet for any work?
Is this good for any type of work? This vine tree that he's talking about specifically here. Nothing. And you notice he didn't mention anything about food, right? These vine trees are supposed to be producing food, grapes, wine, right? You name it, right? He's not mentioning this vine tree in this sort of way. Read.
Behold, when it was whole.
When it was what?
When it was whole.
When it was all together, before I burned it, what happened?
It was meat for no work.
It wasn't good for nothing. Before I took this tree and I burned it, it wasn't good for nothing. So what good was it doing to anybody? It was taking up space. It was becoming a nuisance. So now I gotta take this tree, uproot it, put it in the fire. And didn't even give me no fuel. It burned all the way through. It didn't even do nothing for me when it was burning. Read.
Behold, when it was whole, it was meat for no work. How much less shall it be meat, yet for any work, when the fire hath devoured it?
How much less is it going to be used for work after the fire gets to it? It still ain't going to produce no work. Ain't going to be in the way, though. Be out the way. I ain't got to look at it, because if I planted this vineyard or this vine tree, I'm expecting me to be able to get some type of produce out of it, whether it's production or produce. Production, work, produce, something that's coming from it, right? But he's talking about this one and saying this ain't doing me no good. Go ahead, read.
Therefore, thus says Yahuwah Elohim, as the vine tree among the trees of the forest, which I have given to the fire for fuel, so will I give the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
So will I give who?
The inhabitants of Jerusalem.
I'm gonna get this to the people. I'm gonna do this to them because they ain't doing me no good. I done set y'all up. I done called you a set apart people. I done severed you from the people that would corrupt you. I done put you in a space all by yourself. But you chose not to produce for me. So now that you don't produce for me, I have to go ahead and put you in the fire. Right? Let's jump over to Proverbs chapter 24. So we got the father, which is the husband. Mashiach is the vine. We the branches. Right? Mashiach planted us. Right? Which would make him a husband. Then we become vines. We produce branches. Same, so forth and so on. Then you become a husband. You plant a vine. It produces branches. This is how the garden grows, the forest grows. Everything is working for everything else. Right? Proverbs chapter 24. Start at verse 30.
Proverbs 24 and verse 30. I went by the field of the slothful.
Of the who?
Of the slothful.
What's slothful? Lazy. I went by the field of the lazy. Now, mind you, the Most High ain't no lazy husband. So when he seen that tree wasn't producing no fruit, that vine tree specifically wasn't producing no fruit, what'd he do to it? Got rid of it. But this guy done went by the field of the slothful and what? We're looking up some trees. He like,
I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vine tree of the man void of understanding,
and by the man void of
and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding,
and went by the vineyard of the man that was void of understanding. Remember, you are a husbandman as well. What's your vineyard look like? You a tree, but you also a vineyard. What do your vineyard look like? We'll get into that in a minute. Just keep that in mind that he went and peered into the vineyard of the slothful, or the man void of what now? Understanding. So he's putting a person that don't have understanding and a person that's lazy in the same boat. Ring a bell? So remember when we say spend more time in the word, less time in the world, right? Let's go back to John 15:1. Can the men that set up under Mashiach every day say that they are void of understanding? That'd be a slap in the face, right? You sit up under Mashiach every day. Every day. How much info are you getting from him on a daily? He right here with you. Now think about it, the disciples and all the people before Mashiach came on earth. They had to get it from somebody. They had to get it from the priest. Maybe they wasn't giving the information out loud. Right? And then he came on the scene like, oh man, what you going over there for? I'm right here. Ask me what you want to ask me. I'm right here. It said the priest's mouth shall hold the law, right? He was the priest. So we actually got his words written down. How much are you going to ask on a daily? Nothing. Right? John 15 and 1.
Book of John, chapter 15 and verse 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman.
Yeah.
Every branch in me that bears not fruit, he takes away.
So what is one main, thinking of a vineyard or a vine tree, what is its main fruit that it's going to produce? Grapes. And what is the grapes going to produce? Wine. You hold that. Get Judges chapter 9, verse 13. Why would the Most High plant a vineyard anyway? Why wouldn't he just plant, like dandelions all over the place like how everybody else do? You know what I'm saying? Why he don't plant, what are tulips? Why he don't plant all these other what type of stuff y'all got in y'all garden? I know y'all got garden. What y'all got? You got in your garden? Herb garden. Tomatoes. What else? Green. Mint. Mint is actually good. Keep the spiders away. And mice. And mice. I'm gonna give me a mint. Right. So why is he making it a thing to where that he's planting a vineyard? Where he's talking about this vine tree. Bob mentioned it before. Nothing is idle, what Mashiach said. Nothing in this book is idle, so it means something. So he planted a vineyard. Judges 9 and 13.
Judges chapter 9 and 13. And the vine said unto them, should I leave my wine?
Shall I leave my what?
Should I leave my wine?
That means that this vine produced what? Wine, right? Shall I leave my wine that what?
Which cheereth Elohim.
That do what?
That cheereth Elohim and man.
So this wine cheereth the Most High and men. Or Elohim and men. So if this wine is what cheereth or bring joy to the Most High and men, if he don't see this vine tree producing what it's supposed to produce, I got to get rid of it. I'm supposed to be coming to you and being cheerful. I ain't cheerful. It'll make me happy to burn you. Not necessarily happy. You get the picture, right? Go ahead.
And man, and go to be promoted over the trees.
Over the what?
Over the trees.
Now, what did you say that the trees was last time in that lesson? The fig tree joint.
Yeah.
They were men, right? We'll get to that in a second. So where you at? You at John 15. Pick it up at verse 2 again.
John 15 and verse 2. Every branch in me that bears not fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he purges it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
What does that mean? He purged it that it bring forth more fruit. He pruned it. Right? Go ahead.
Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you.
Wait a minute. Because I done heard people say that this is something foreign. This is a foreign concept. Somebody clean through the word. How is this possible, somebody being clean through the word? I done seen people going through the labor and getting clean. I done seen people dipping themselves 7 times in the water to be clean. Who was this dude to come up and say that you can be clean through the word? We know that this stuff got to go back to the Old Testament, correct? Get Psalms 119, verse 8. He said, you are clean through the word which I spoke to you. Remember that he is the word, correct? And while we going there, if a man had leprosy, how was he made clean? Write that in their book, right? They got put outside the camp, right? They got cleaned up with hyssop, this, that, and the third. But how were they made clean? The priest pronounced them to be clean. If the priest didn't pronounce you to be clean, regardless of what you went through, you wasn't clean. You need a reference? Check all through Leviticus, the 13th chapter. It's all in there. Right? But the priest will pronounce a man or a house clean in that regard. Right? But let's look at this. Psalms, where we at? 119, verse 8. Verse 8.
Psalms 119 and verse 8. I will keep your statutes. Oh, forsake me not utterly.
So he said, I'm going to keep your statutes. Don't forsake me. Go ahead.
Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way?
He said, how will a young man cleanse his way? With what?
By taking heed thereto according to your word.
By taking heed to what?
According to your word.
By taking heed according to the word. That's how a man gonna cleanse his way. So when we over here in John the 15th chapter and he say, now you are clean through the word which I've spoken unto you, this is not a foreign concept, right? All right, let's maneuver through that. John chapter 15, pick it up at verse 4.
Book of John chapter 15 and verse 4. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine.
So it says, if you abide in him, he abide in you, the branch can't bear fruit of itself except it be in the vine. What do that mean? What do you think it means? Thinking about on a regular thing as far as trees. Why would the rest of the tree be able not to produce fruit unless it was for the vine? What's the source of nutrition? The water, right? So inside of this vine is filled with what? Water, which is pushing out into the rest of the tree, right? I got two fingers up for a reason. We'll get to it in a second. Go ahead. Verse 6. Verse 5, I'm sorry.
Verse 5. I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abides in me, and I in him, the same bring forth much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father esteemed, that you bear much fruit, so shall you be my disciples. As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue you in my love. Mm-hmm. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love.
All right. I got 8 fingers up. Wow. What was these 8 fingers for? What was I counting? How many times he said abide? Right? He's given one parable. This is one parable. Inside of this one parable, he said the word abide 8 times. That means something. So if everything that you do as far as bearing fruit is predicated on you abiding in him and he and his Father, that means that you need to figure out what it means to abide. What do you think the word abide means? Say it again. obey. What do you think the word abide means? You said follow? Follow? Okay, what up? Dwell. To dwell or to stay. Right? That's what it's talking about. To dwell or to stay. So he's telling you, stay in me. Stay in me. Abide in me. Stay in me. Abide in me.
Stay in and abide. How do you stay in him and abide?
How do you say?
His word. Right? So, if he's mentioning that we got to stay in him, we got to dwell amongst him 8 times in one parable, that means that abiding in him is important. Jump over to Psalms 15. Verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 15 and verse 1. Yahuwah, who shall abide?
Who shall what?
Abide.
Dwell, stay, right? Where?
In your tabernacle.
Who gonna stay in your tabernacle? Who gonna dwell in your tabernacle? Read.
Who shall dwell in your Kadesh hill?
Who gonna dwell in the Kodesh mountain, the Kodesh hill? If you say yes, me, raise your hand. You want to dwell in there? I mean, if you want to dwell in there, that's cool. If not, then I pray for you. Right? Go ahead.
He that walks uprightly and works righteousness.
And do what to righteousness?
And works righteousness.
He said, do what to righteousness?
Works righteousness.
Now he was saying something about a vineyard, and he was at a vineyard of a slothful man and a man that was void of understanding. He's talking about working righteousness. What is righteousness? The law, right? Go ahead.
He that walks uprightly and works righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart.
And where?
In his heart.
Only in his lips.
In his heart.
Go ahead.
He that backbites not with his tongue, nor does evil to his neighbor, nor takes up a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is contempt, but he honors them that fear Yahuwah. He that swears to his own hurt, and changes not. He that puts not out his money to usury, nor takes reward against the innocent. He that does these things shall never be moved.
So this is the person that's going to buy, right? You don't necessarily mention 10 commandments right there, right? So again, if you wanted to abide in this house, in this mountain, how would you know that if you never read it? Right? So let's do this. Get Mark the 8th chapter. So we got, he mentioned vine, he mentioned branches, then he also mentioned this, he mentioned the vine and the branches, which would mean that there is a tree present, right? Mark chapter 8, verse 23. Just to drive the point home about the trees. Mark 8:23.
The book of Mark, chapter 8, verse 23. And he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw anything. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. After that, he put his hands again upon his eyes and made him look up, and he was restored.
So he saw men as trees, right? Now that means this can't be a foreign concept, because this was a vision that was given to him. This wasn't just him seeing something just willy-nilly. He could have seen goats walking around as men, right? But he's seen men as trees, right? Jump back to Psalms chapter 1, verse 1. Now again, we're talking about the vine, the branches, This slothful man in his vineyard. It's all going to make sense in just a second, right?
Book of Psalms, chapter 1, and verse 1. Baruch is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly.
So he said, Baruch, or blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, right? The people that do things that are against the Most High. Is it hard not to walk in the counsel of the ungodly? Straightforward question. Answer it however you see fit. It's not a trick. Is it hard not to walk in the counsel of the ungodly? Okay. How is it not hard? Like, what makes it easy not to walk into the counsel of the ungodly? What'd you say? Don't be around them. What else? They're gonna break it down. Not speaking.
Know what the word says. Know what the word has the word abiding in you. So when you are around the counsel of ungodly, you know the difference between ungodly and godly counsel.
Okay.
You know the word of God.
I like that. She says, know the word. That way, when you are around the people that are of ungodly counsel, then you can know the difference. Right? I like that. Get Psalm 73 and 1. We're going to come back to Psalms 1 and 1. Now, I'm going to ask y'all a quick question. Solomon, the most wise man that walked the face of the earth before Mashiach, right? Did he walk in the counsel of the ungodly? Yes. Did Solomon know the law? How do we know that Solomon knew the law? What does the law tell the kings to do? Study it, but what else? Write it down. Write the law. Right? So Solomon knew the law. He was the wisest man on the earth until Mashiach, but he still did what? Walked in the counsel of the ungodly. Why? Where were they? Where was the ungodly counsel at with Solomon? In his house. All around him. The women that he married were the ones who the Most High told him not to marry because they was going to lead him astray. But the wisest man knew the law backward and forward, could judge a matter and with the wits of his brain like that, failed for the counsel of the ungodly. Because he was constantly around it. It's not hard for any man that's not around mischief, madness against the Most High to fall into that. It's not hard. You know what I'm saying? If you continue to allow yourself to be amongst it and around it and consume with it, it'll get you. The hardest thing where it comes to sometimes is with family. Right? And I'm going to give you an example. You got a honeymoon period when you come into the truth. Right? What I mean by honeymoon period is you come into the truth and you go on to this island where there's nobody else around. I ain't around no family, don't nobody want me around, this, that, the third, right? Everybody is separated from you. You separated from everybody. I'm all about this truth. That's the honeymoon. That's the beauty. Because in that honeymoon period, you're only able to focus on who? Most High. That's the honeymoon period. Everything is peachy. As soon as you come back from that honeymoon, as soon as you get back, you're not on the island by yourself no more. The same people that you left to go on vacation with your husband or your wife are there again. So you try a little bit, you know what I'm saying? No, I ain't going out tonight, fellas. You know, stop being the wife, you know what I mean? Because you married, it's, you know what I'm saying? Oh, no, ladies, I'm a man. And after a while, it's like, all right, I can go out with my boys. All right, I can go out with the girls. All right, you know what I'm saying? But there's nothing wrong with that. But when the separation from your spouse starts to take place in certain instances, now there's a separation of mental, right? You're not working as hard to keep them happy no more because now you involved in yourself being happy. You know what I'm saying? You're around those people that's gonna say, well, hey girl, he make you do this, and this. I wouldn't be doing all that. Hey dog, should be questioning you about where you at. That ain't no real life. But we see that this woman that was head over heels for Solomon, looking for him. Y'all seen my husband? No, my husband there. That was all love. Read the Psalms. Y'all see what I'm talking about. Right? Not saying that you should be insecure with it. I ain't trying to get no pass for that. We ain't talking about it. But you got outside sources that are able to come in and start to break away from what you established during this quote unquote honeymoon period. And now you start to be a little more, what is it? Is it susceptible? Is that the word I'm looking for? Susceptible to the outside chatter. Right? Yeah, you know what? Come to think about it. He can make his own plate. I cook. I went to the grocery store. I gotta make that plate too. Let me be your slave, right? When before you didn't think that. You was like, I want to do this for my husband. Hey, being a good wife, right? Or I ain't gotta call my wife to tell her where I'm at. I ain't cheating. I ain't doing nothing wrong. I ain't gotta check in with. When before it was like, hey man, I'm just around the corner, you know what I'm saying? I'll get back with you in a few, you know. But now it changed because of her. Oh, he always calling his wife. Oh, she got you on a leash, bro. Right? Now we laughing because it's the truth. You know, been through it in some shape or form, right? But it's the same thing when it comes to the Most High. Right? Same thing. You go through the honeymoon period. Everything is beautiful. Everything is good. You're separated from everybody. It's all love. Man, look, did you see what you learned? Man, I learned this yesterday. I learned this today. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Trey, you want to come to? No, I'm not coming to the party, man. I'm in this book. Y'all sit anyway. I ain't going over there. Right? But then the more and more you get back, the more and more you start to make yourself susceptible to the things which you left. Right? The less and less you find yourself reading your word, studying the word. It's, you know how people say, oh man, I read a chapter or two with that. Is that sufficient?
Read it, but you didn't study.
Exactly. Is that sufficient? Give me Joshua. Give me Joshua 8. Is that sufficient? We're gonna get Psalm 73. We'll get Psalm 73. I'm gonna clean up everything that I put out there. We're gonna get Psalm 73. You know how it be. You know how it be. You know how it be. Joshua 8. Actually, I'm sorry. Joshua 1 and 8. I'm sorry. Joshua 1 and 8. You leave your first love. You got married to this word. You ain't never felt no way about nothing else in life that you felt about when you came into this truth. When you came into this knowledge. That was a whole nother feeling. It wasn't like being in love with a person. This was being in love on a whole nother spiritual plane that nobody could ever take from you. And you leave that love because you go back off that honeymoon period. Right? Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8.
Book of Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein.
What does it mean to meditate? What is it? Focus. Think on it. Right? When after the end of the Psalms joints, you be like Selah. What that mean? Ponder this. Think to this. Think about this. Right? Meditate therein day and night. But when you leave that honeymoon period, it's no more thinking on it. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. And now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Most High came to pass. Bet I'm good for the day. And through that, I've been through that. Because you off the honeymoon period. But what he say? Meditate therein.
This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein.
This is key, because the only way that you're going to do the stuff that's written therein is if you meditate on it day and night. No way possible can you say, I'm keeping his word, I'm keeping his law, I'm keeping his commandments and statutes, I'm keeping those things that he told me to keep, if you're not meditating in it like he told you. No way you can do it, because he said this is the way you're going to do it, right? But we get to the point where I'm good. But now you become that vine tree that's not producing his fruit. Now you become that slothful. Matter of fact, let's get back to that. Hold on, wait, before we do Psalm 73, we got to clean up Psalm 73. Psalm 73, and one day we go to this slothful man with no understanding.
Psalm 73 verse 1.
Yeah.
Truly, Elohim is good to Israel.
He good to who?
Israel.
He good to Israel.
Even to such as are of a clean heart.
I was like, what?
A clean heart.
We just talking about something being clean by the word. No, how you gonna be clean by the word if you don't meditate in the word? I mean, it's all the same book, right? Let's go.
But as for me, my feet were almost gone.
It was almost what?
Almost gone.
Who was writing this song?
Asaph.
Do y'all know how close Asaph was to the king? He's real close. Asaph was David's recorder, right? He was his scribe. It was like this with him. David had a heart after the Most High. We understand that that David had his hiccup, and after his hiccup, it said that he didn't turn from the Most High today, right? So he says that his feet well near slipped. Go ahead.
But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well near slipped.
They almost slipped because of what?
For I was envious.
I was what?
Envious at the foolish.
At the what?
At the foolish.
And they always look like they be having a good time, man. It ain't gonna hurt if I just go and, you know what I'm saying, kick it with them. Right? Go ahead.
When I saw the prosperity of the wicked.
The who?
The prosperity of the wicked.
It's almost slipped, almost fell into that. Maybe you not almost falling into because you seeing the money. But maybe it's because you're seeing something or you want to be a part of something that held near and dear to your heart. A person, a place, right? You know you're not supposed to be in, or know you're not supposed to be around, at least that much, because it's going to cause you to go to a place where you shouldn't be. I've been there. I've been there. You know for a fact when you go there, it's nothing going to be uplifting about the Most High, but you trick yourself and you make yourself think, I'm going to be the light that's going up in there. Wait till I get up in there. I'm about to show them all this. You know that it's nothing in there that's going to produce fruit for the Most High, but you say, I'm going to be the one. Mashiach didn't tell every branch that to abide in him. Remember, he said, I'll pray for those that he gave. You know what I'm saying? If without me, they ain't got nothing. Right? When he knock on the door, you're supposed to answer. These are the type of things that Mashiach is saying. This ain't for everybody.
Got that Henny for your cuz.
Exactly. Right? And that's the thing. If you allow yourself, I done been there. I promise you I have. You allow yourself to get sucked back into it because you off of that honeymoon phase. Now you're not producing fruit. Now you look like every other tree in that dang on forest. Where we at? Go ahead, verse 3.
For I was envious at the foolish.
At the who?
At the foolish.
The fool said in his heart that there is no God. Right? Do somebody always got to say that for them to act like it? Not really. Keep going.
When I saw the prosperity of the wicked, for there are no bands in their death.
You know what?
No bands in their death.
What is the bands in their death? What is that talking about? What does a band do? What y'all think that's talking about? Ain't no bands in their death. It's nothing to. That boy said a stack of dice. They say a band. No, it's nothing holding them. They don't have nothing to look forward to in their death. But you, on the other hand, when you die, you are expecting for the Most High to be there and say, hey, good job. Now, I want y'all to hold on to the fact that he said ain't no bands in their death, right? We're going to come back to that. What else? How you grab up? That was it. Let's jump into, let's go back to Psalms chapter 1. Let's go back to chapter 1. So this vine tree, you are a vine tree yourself, right? Verse 1 again.
Baruch is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law.
His delight is what?
But his delight is in the law of Yahuwah. And in his law does he meditate day and night.
Dang, it said that in Joshua too, right? Okay. So he said that's something that he's commanding a person to do. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 3. And he shall be like a tree.
He shall be like a what?
A tree.
He shall be like a what?
A tree.
He gonna be like a tree. Right? That what?
Planted by the rivers of water.
Planted by what?
The rivers of water.
Can I ask y'all one question? Just one simple question. Why would a tree want to be planted by water? Life, constantly growing, nourishment to produce more fruit, right? So he said that then this person that meditated in there day and night is going to be like a tree that is planted by a river of water. Go ahead.
That brings forth his fruit in his season.
Only at that particular time will you bring forth the fruit in the season. Right? Go ahead.
His leaf also shall not wither.
His leaf shall not what?
Wither.
Ain't gonna get all crunchy. You know when you see in the what was that, the fall. Oh, we gotta write these leaves up, right? Ain't gonna get like that. Ain't gonna never get like that. It's gonna always have that water flowing through it, producing more and more and more abundantly, right? Go ahead.
And whatsoever he does shall prosper.
Everything he do shall prosper. Every single thing, because he is by this water. Jeremiah 17. Now everybody know that this book is in layers, right? So the tree is planted by the river of waters. Tree, I say he the vine and all this type of stuff. Get to that. What did I tell y'all to hold on to just a minute ago, though? The bands in death still supposed to be dealing with the slothful. Right? Okay. Jeremiah 17 and verse 7.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 7. Baruch is the man that trusts in Yahuwah, and whose hope Yahuwah is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreads out her roots by the river.
Which means that her roots are going to eventually go where?
To the water.
In the water. It's going to be consumed with the water. The water is in the tree, and the tree is in the water. That makes sense. Okay. Go ahead. Verse 8.
For ye shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the rivers, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of the drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit.
So no matter what type of heat come upon this tree, he ain't gonna get withered out. His leaves ain't gonna get messed up, right? It's gonna constantly be green, constantly producing fruit, right? So go back to John chapter 15 again. Pick it up at verse 5.
John chapter 15 and verse 5. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit.
So the vine, right? I remember we talking about layers, right? So Mashiach is telling you that he's the vine, right? And you're the branches, right? If you abide in him, you're going to bring forth much fruit. And Jeremiah, it says that the tree that's roots are in the what? The water is going to bring forth much fruit. Get John chapter 7. Matter of fact, hold on, finish that verse out.
Fruit, for without me ye can do nothing.
So can a tree that's not rooted or given water grow other than a cactus? We don't want to be a cactus. It got water, it produces its own water though, right? I don't want to be a cactus though. I'm trying to be a vine tree. But he says, without me, you can't do nothing. So without this water, you're not getting no water into the vine, which go out into the tree, which go out into the branches, which grow the leaves, grow the grapes. You ain't getting none of that. John chapter 7, verse 38.
Book of John, chapter 7 and verse 38. He that believes on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
So what?
Rivers of living water.
Get water. That means his belly flowing with what? Which means if he the vine, he's producing the water into where?
Branches.
Into the branches. But you also got to be that tree and become a vine and do the same thing. But if you don't got the water in you, you can do nothing. You can't do nothing. Right? So if you are around these people that's giving you bad counsel or the ungodly and all this and that, right? Then you start to lose sight of yourself when it comes to your scriptures. You start to lose sight of yourself when it comes to the word itself, reading the word and studying the word. Or maybe you never read and studied the word before at all. You're not going to get it. It's not going to come to you. Because you're not taking care of your vineyard. Let's go back. Let's see what it say. Let's see what it say. Proverbs chapter 24 again. Let's pick it up at verse 30.
Book of Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 30.
Yeah.
I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding.
Now, why is he void of understanding? Because he's lazy. He ain't meditating in his word. He ain't studying. He top reading. Right? Where it says, and the vine, and that's all he reads. Instead of saying, okay, what's the vine? Like we just went through, figured out what the vine is, what the water is, going. That's studying, right? So he says, read that portion again up.
I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding.
Yeah.
And lo, it was all grown over with thorns.
It was all grown over. Meaning he ain't taking care of his garden, his vineyard. Right? He giving the tools, but when I come to your vineyard, I'll see thorns and thistles and all this mess. Read.
And lo, it was grown over with thorns and needles, had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down.
Now, what's underneath those thorns and those needles and all that? That beautiful vineyard that you started out with. That honeymoon period is tucked right up under there. Right? But you got so many thorns and needles now, it's like I gotta burn this whole thing. I ain't about to go through it, step on all them needles and pick through this and that. I don't do that. You don't let it get too far out of hand. Right? Because you stop working. You stop doing those things that you did on your honeymoon period. Keep reading. Do it take a lot? Because he say meditate there and day and night. What if you take a day off? That's cool. Take 2 days off, 3 days off, a week off. That's cool. I can jump right back into it. Right? What you about to say, Art? Daily, right?
It's just like, do you eat every day? Right? When we say that prayer, what is it that we say in that prayer?
Give us this day our daily bread.
Our what?
Daily bread.
Our daily bread. Not just the physical food, but the spiritual food as well. Daily. Most of us, we know, only do it when we come here. Not good enough.
I promise you, listen, because he said, only when you study, only when you meditate in it will you have success. Only when you do that. So if you're not studying, reading and studying, not just top reading and studying the word, you won't make it because you won't be able to do those things that he asked you to do and carry out in his law. Because he told you that that's what you had to do. All right? Keep reading up.
Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction.
He said, from what I've seen on that one, I received instruction. Read.
Yet a little sleep.
Yet a what?
A little sleep.
A what?
A little sleep.
I'm just calling hogs.
A little sleep.
Only a little bit. Only a little. That's all it takes is a little bit. What else?
A little slumber.
A little slumber. Just a teeny bit. What else?
A little folding of the hands to sleep.
That's all it takes. What? Go ahead.
So shall poverty come as one that travels.
So shall poverty come as one that what?
That travels. And your want as an armed man.
So he said all it takes is for a little sleep. Just a little slack. That's all it takes. You ever got up for work and said, I'm just going to sleep? 5 more minutes. 5. That's all I'm going to sleep. And you wake up and you got to, I got to go to the job. Hey, man, why you wake me up? Right? You going crazy. Now it's too late. You already late. You already late for work. Because you decided that once you was woke, that you had enough time to sleep and could control your sleep to only be good for 5 minutes. You decided that I am good for 5 minutes. And then you'll say to yourself, I'm not doing that no more. When I'm up, I'm up. About 6 months. I won't even give it 6. I'm just being generous. 6 months down the line, you're like, you know what? I done mastered this.
The next day.
Exactly. Yep. And you do it again. But at that part, you're not creating the discipline for yourself to just get up and stay up. You're trying to find a way to manage both. And that's what we do with the word. We try to manage both. But when it comes to this vineyard, when it comes to this vine tree, it's going to take all the work that you got. Because you're not dressing up this vineyard for you and for your cousins and for your brothers and sisters and friends that come over and see you. You can have some imperfections. Oh, they ain't gonna notice that little paint chip in the corner over there. You ain't doing this for him, for them. You're doing this for the person that said you are a holy person unto me. I called you to myself. I planted you in this ground. I created you for me. So now, that little paint chip in the corner, guess who's gonna notice it? He is. Get Psalms the 80th chapter. One thing about vine trees, right? It's never a quote-unquote vine tree. There's no vine seed that you can plant to grow a vine tree. A vine tree is made up of a vine that grows, right? It's planted and it grows, right? You got trees that got vines around them. They got vines on them that grow into the tree. But a vine tree itself has to be planted from one particular vine. Start to put a picture up. Mashiach telling you that he is the vine. Right? Psalms chapter 80. Pick it up at verse 1.
Book of Psalms, chapter 80, and verse 1. Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, you that leads Joe.
80.
80, right?
80.
Read it from the beginning. To the teeth.
Oh,
That's 81. That's 80. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, read it from the beginning.
oh, that was my.
To the chief musician.
To the chief musician upon Shoshanaim.
Verse 1.
Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, you that leads Joseph like a flock, you that dwell between the cherubim, shine forth before ye Ephraim and Benjamin and Manasseh, stir up your strength and come and save us.
So he said, hey, wake up, shepherd. Right? Let's drop down to verse 7.
Verse 7. Turn us again, O Elohim of hosts.
Remember, because he was talking about this one in Ezekiel chapter 15, like, I ain't got nothing for you. I'm about to burn you. You ain't been producing me no fruit. You know whether you producing him the fruit or not. You know whether your honeymoon phase is over or not. You know this, right? You know whether you're not meditating and studying and getting the understanding. You know whether you're being slothful with your opinion. Only you know this. Everybody else ain't got to know. You know. Read. Verse 8.
You have brought a vine out of
what?
A vine out of Egypt. You have cast out the heathen and planted it.
So remember, I was saying that when it comes to this vine tree, that it needs a vine itself, and then it's planted, and then it can grow, right? So he said, you brought this vine out of Egypt, you cast away the heathen, and you planted it, and you cleared the garden by itself. Read.
You prepared room before it, and did cause it to take deep root, and filled the land, and it filled the land. The hills were covered with the shadow of it, and the boughs thereof were like the goodly cedars. She sent out her boughs unto the sea, and her branches unto the river.
So it's growing out. Branches, everything is going into the water so it can do what? Produce more. Read.
Why have you then broken down her hedges?
You do that. What caused you to start breaking it down? We was reading in Ezekiel 15, right? Read.
So that all they which pass by the way does pluck her. The boar out of the wood does waste it, and the wild beast of the field does devour it. Return, we beseech you, O Elohim of hosts. Look down from Shamayim, and behold, and visit this
And
vine.
do what?
And visit this vine.
I cut you off. I ain't got nothing to do with you. Right? Remember, I told you. When he cut this one off, this vine tree off, it wasn't because he was slothful and lazy. It was because it wasn't producing. So he's asking, hey, come visit your vine again. Right? Go ahead.
And the vineyard which your right hand have planted.
Which who planted?
Your right hand have planted.
Well, Shiach planted it, right? Read.
And the branch that you made strong for yourself.
For who?
For yourself.
You are a holy people who I brought unto myself. He made us for him. Read.
It is burned with fire.
Mm-hmm.
It is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of your countenance. Let your hand be upon the man of your right hand.
The what?
Let your hand be upon the man of your right hand.
I guess this just in here. Whoever this man of his right hand is, I guess that's just in there for the people that don't believe in Mashiach. Y'all can figure out who that man is. Y'all let me know.
Hand against the man.
Go ahead.
Upon the Son of Man, whom you made
who?
upon the Son of Man, whom you made strong for yourself.
I guess that's David. Go ahead.
So will not we go back from you.
He says, so we won't go back from you. Do what?
Quicken us.
How does he say? What does he say quickens in the scriptures? What quickens? Mashiach, but what did he say? Quickens.
Word.
The word. Everything is taking you back to the word. Everything. He says, quicken us and what?
Quicken us, and we will call upon your name.
Uh-huh.
Turn us again, O Yahuwah Elohim of hosts. Cause your face to shine, and we shall be saved.
Cause your face to shine, and we shall be saved. Anybody know how plants grow towards the sun? Right? So if the sun is over here, and the shade in your house is over here, and your plant is in the middle, where is the plant going to grow? It's going to face the sun. Right? Sun is above trees, right? It grows as far up as it can, and once it can't grow up no more, what does it finally have to do? Right? But everything is going towards the sun. So he said, make your face shine on us again so we can do what? So we can go towards you. Right? But if we don't have that desire, if we don't have the willpower to say, I'm staying on my, what is the honeymoon phase for? It's just to get away to go back to the same old mess? Or is that feeling supposed to last throughout? That's the general thought anyway, right? Let's go back to John chapter 15. Pick it up at verse 5. And we get ready to close it on the second. Told y'all in 30 minutes.
Book of John, chapter 15 and verse 5. I am the vine. You are the branches. He that abides in me, and I in him, the same brings forth much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If you abide in me, and my word in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father esteemed, that you bear much fruit, so shall you be my taught ones, or my disciples.
Mm-hmm. So his whole goal is for you to bear fruit as this vine tree, having your vineyard, the whole nine, right? Now the other thing I told y'all to hold on to was that thing with the bands of death, right? It's allotted in every man to die once. Every man died once. That's what the book says. Let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 9. And we'll close it out with this. Ecclesiastes chapter 9. I promise we close it out. Wait, before we get Ecclesiastes, get Ecclesiastes chapter 9. And we are going to pick it up at verse. Pick it up at verse 1.
Ecclesiastes 9:1. For all this I considered in my heart, even to declare all this, that the righteous and the wise and their works are in the hand of Elohim.
So he says that everything that he done considered is the righteous and their wisdom and their works is all in the hand of the Most High, right? So that means that this person that's righteous and wise and doing their works is not a slothful man or woman without understanding. We agree? Go ahead.
No man knows either love or hatred by all that is before them.
Mm-hmm.
All things come alike to all. There is one event to the righteous and to the wicked.
So what's that one event? That's one thing that everybody got to look forward to. All right? Go ahead.
To the good and to the clean and to the unclean, to him that sacrifices, to him that sacrifices not, as is the good, so is the sinner, and he that swears, as he that fears an oath.
So he's giving you the opposite sides of both, the good and the bad, the righteous and the evil, all these things, right? Everybody got one thing that everybody can look forward to is death. So before we finish it, don't look at death as if, what did they do wrong? You can't look at that all the time. You can't look at that like, oh man, they died and such happened, man. What was they doing wrong against the Most High? And stop looking at it like that. Everybody got a day. Everybody got a day. Shiach died in his early 30s. You're not going to look at him and say, oh, hey, what did you do wrong? You know what I'm saying? Hezekiah was given 15 more years on his life. When he died, you're not going to look at him and say, oh, man, see, he died because he was also a mess. Death is promised to everybody. It's how you live before you go is what you need to be worried about. Right? Go ahead.
This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live. And after that they go to the dead.
So if madness is in their heart while they live, they're not going to receive the good that the Most High got for them in death. Just think about it. What is the madness? Everything that is contradictory to his word. Going right back to the word. You gotta know the word. You gotta study the word. Yeah, you come here every week. To say that you need a preacher. Say that you need a teacher. That's what we're here for. But you gotta do it for yourself as well. You gotta study the word. You know what I'm saying? You got to. You can't teach somebody that don't want to be taught. We can talk till we blue in the face up here. If you ain't taking the word and studying and reading yourself, it's not going to benefit you. You're just here. At that point, salvation is dwindling out of your hands. You control your salvation. You control what's going to happen to you when you leave here while you're breathing. He controls it after that. He breathes.
For him that is joined to all the living, there is hope.
Again, we all alive, we all breathing, we all kicking. Everybody got hope. You ain't dead yet. You ain't up out of here. Everybody got hope in that. Read.
For a living dog is better than a dead lion.
Go ahead.
For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything. Neither have they any more a reward, for the money of them is forgotten.
So the memory of them is forgotten.
Memory, I'm sorry.
So while you're here, you know right now that you have a day that you're going to die. You know this. So why would you live your life as if you already dead? You know that you got a day. Whether it's today, tomorrow, however long it is, 30 years from now, you know that it's coming. Like he said, when it comes to the Son of Man, when it comes to men in their lives, it's like fish in an evil net. They don't know when it's going to happen. They just know eventually it's going to happen. Right? Go ahead.
Also, their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished. Neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun.
After you leave here, you can't go back like my man tried to do. Let me go and tell my people that they should be like this and like that. Let me try to change them. Ain't no more of that. Ain't no more, please, can I just go back and do this? I'll do it right. I promise. You don't know when it's coming. You have no idea. You have no idea. None. So you can't try to gauge it and say, well, next week I'm going to start getting in my book and I'm going to start studying. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start being better towards people. I'm going to start producing this fruit and that fruit. You don't have no time for that because you don't know. Absolutely. Like he just said, it say, choose you this day. Life and good or death and evil. I seen a dude that got killed recently. And right before he got killed says, I'm going to touch him. Ain't nobody get at me. And they got at him. Right after that. You don't know. You don't know. You don't have the time to pick and choose when you're going to go and work on that vineyard that he gave you. At any particular time, when you got a tenant at the crib, right? It was completely up to you. Your house, it ain't no government rule, so to speak. And they destroying your house. They not paying you rent. It's looking horrible. They tearing it. When you gonna say leave? Whenever you ready, right? So I could go by there a couple days and like, you know what? I'm gonna let them get it. Yo, my man, you need to go ahead and tighten that up over there. I need my rent. Boom. The very next time could be the time that you say, you know what? Never mind. Get up out of here. Right? That vine tree in Ezekiel 15 didn't know that he was about to get plucked up right then and there. That slothful man didn't know that he was about to get visited to somebody to see his vineyard right then and there. When it comes to your house, do you wait until everybody is coming over to the house to clean up? Oh man, such and such ain't coming over. Man, y'all get up in there and clean them dishes and right? But you don't never make us do this before now. Why we faking in front of everybody? Right? You don't know. So it's better to get it together now because if you are this vine tree that he set up for you to produce this fruit, then you got to do that. It's like a drug dealer. So I need to work. I need my money on time. If you double cross the dope man, might not get a chance to double cross nobody else. You read now.
Verse 7. Go your way, eat your bread with joy, and drink your wine with a merry heart. For Elohim now accepts your work.
When you're dead, this is talking about a person. He says, for Yah does what?
Now accepts your works.
He accepts your works. And let what?
Let your garments be always white, and let your head lack no ointment.
So again, do you want those bands that what you got to hold on to? You doing right. You having that white garment on. Do you want him to be able to say, I accept the work you give? I like how that vineyard looks. Right? I like that. I can deal with that. Or would you rather him say, you didn't do me no good? See that fire over there? You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be on that. You want him to say, go your way, eat your bread, and drink your wine with a merry heart, for the Most High accepts your works. That's how you want it to be. You want to be that vine tree, that vineyard, that is flowing through the Mashiach, and he's flowing through you, and both of y'all in the Father, and everything goes happily ever after. With that, I say shalom. Questions?
Comments, concerns, likes, you hate it, whatever it be.
I can't stand you. Everything good? No questions?
Trav brought up one point. He said, why is it, what is that, Psalm 73? Like, why is it so hard to not walk in the ungodly counsel? Right?
Psalm 73 and verse 2. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well near slipped. But I was envious.
So he was what?
I was envious.
Envious. What does envious mean?
The difference between jealousy and envy, though.
Right? Difference between them. Jealousy means you're jealous over something that belongs to you. Envy is when you want something that somebody else has. That's the difference. Right? So he said he was what?
I was envious at the foolish.
At the what?
At the foolish.
So why would you be envious of somebody that's a fool? Right? Is this something that we should ask ourselves? Why would I be envious of somebody that's considered a fool? We should ask ourselves, why is he envious at the foolish? Right?
Right.
Read on.
I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity.
You saw what?
I saw the prosperity.
Wow. So there's people on TV every week that preach about prosperity, right? And to the naked eye, it seems like they're doing great, right? All of them people that do the prosperity stuff got jets and stuff, right? So we sitting in this little bitty building with flies and gnats bothering us, right? Fundraisers and man, you know what I'm saying? Read that last piece again.
For I was envious at the foolish when I saw. I was envious at the foolish.
I was envious at the foolish because it looked like they doing great, but they really foolish. Read.
When I saw the prosperity.
The what?
The prosperity.
The prosperity. Read.
Of the wicked.
Of the wicked. So again, we'll see something with our naked eye, right? Without the spiritual eye, and we'll see why is the camp so attractive to so many people.
Wow.
Numbers. So a lot of our brothers will get caught up in numbers and seeing, man, they growing all over the place. They got camps everywhere. And while you sitting here eating a gourmet meal every week, right? For real, you eating the doctrine is on point. It's shinier over there. Man, when their videos come on, but when we watch the chosen seed, man, the light is too bright, can't see, man, the kids too loud, right? So he was envious of the wicked, seeing their prosperity. So a lot of us get caught up in what our eyes see. Like my ox saying, you top reading. You ain't really paying no attention to what you actually getting. Like we're showing you how to study. In a sense, that could actually cut us out. I don't need them no more. I can go do my own thing, but guess what? Most of the people is too slothful to do it. Minute you leave from out of here, close that book up, drive home a little bit, man.
What we doing tonight?
Exactly.
So fluff.
I knew Drake, boy. We slothful. We forget all about it.
Till Friday night.
Yep.
Next week. Not even Friday. Friday night. Man, what's tomorrow? What am I wearing?
Looking at somebody else, not even understanding what you already got yourself. That's why a lot of people run to the camps because it seems like it's beautiful over there what they doing, right? Look how many people it is. So when they show the DVD or the gathering or they summits or whatever, and you look and you see a sea of people, you be, man, I gotta be a part of that. Look at the garments.
They ain't doing something right over there.
Yeah.
They only got 20 people to come on average. They only got this. I had a brother call me this past weekend. No, this past week. Say, oh man, what's going on? I'm like, what's up? You all right? It's one of my family members. Man, I see y'all thick down here, man, on 7 Mile. What you talking about? Man, y'all got all 4 corners on lock with a bunch of y'all. I'm like, bro, we ain't down there. Oh, they got the fringes on. They got this, man. They got the whole. They got all these corners on lock and so many people with fringes and this. It was another camp. It was a quote unquote camp. You know what I'm saying? That's no. I won't mention no name. Yeah. So, you know, but he was so amazed that it was so many of them that it wanted to force him to, yo, man, yo, whatever they doing, man, I want to be a part of it and this and that. But I talk to you all the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a part. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't never seen you in here. Not a knock, but it's just what he's talking about. People look for numbers. They look for what they think is, oh my goodness. The Most High never dressed up. Nothing as good as something he wanted to give you. A shiny, beautiful package. Even the temple that had all gold on the inside of it looked like a ragamuffin on the outside.
What Messiah look like?
It said that he didn't have no countenance that everybody would desire. You know what I'm saying? Because if he did, half the people that followed him would be just because he looked like something. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to keep in mind, man, that you got to stay grounded. You got to know the patterns. This is the studying. Knowing the patterns, nothing that he do for you is going to come without you working to get it. Maybe you got to listen around the kids crying in the background. Maybe the video just come on and we start and they don't have all the shiny stuff and the music playing and all that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the video is 2 hours long. But there's something in there that you can take from it. You know what I'm saying? Something that you can hold on to. You know? So,
yeah. You got a lot of individuals covered for all kinds of reasons, man. It's sad to say, but you got some brothers, I mean, it's fine to search for a wife. It's fine to search for a husband. But you got to come seeking God in order to receive that husband, wife, or whatever. But a lot of people are coming for individuals. They're not coming for that home. You got to develop a personal relationship with God. It ain't coming for an individual. Coming in here, putting your eyes on an individual, because if you're coming for any of those reasons, you're not going to stay. You're not going to last. It's going to, for instance, you all going through things. And if you are coming for that individual, you're going to fall off. Because you ain't keeping God as that focus point. You put somebody else as the focus point, you're going to fall off every time. It's always say, only what we do for him is what's going to last. If you're doing it for anybody else, you might do it also.
take a reality check. It ain't about people. It's about what we do for him. What we're able to keep us to endure to the end. We're not gonna reach. It's just like what you saying, and we're speaking this script every day. We gotta have it for ourselves. A lot of times I try to get in the script, and I'm always trying to get my husband to come study with me, but I realize that I've got to be able to get the script and understand it for myself. He can study with me, or we can study together, but it's still got to be how I understand what God is trying to give to me, because He's giving something to him different as a man. He's giving something different to me as a woman. He's got to give something to us together as a couple, as a marriage. But I got to be able to get it for myself, even though I'm married to him when it comes to God.
Absolutely. You know what he's saying? When you got your eye on somebody, right? Say, for instance, the person likes Travis' teachings. I don't like when he teaches. I don't like when he teaches. I like when Travis teaches. Me and Trav doing the marriage joints, right? And he say some stuff that they don't like. Oh no, I thought he was right. I ain't going back. See? That's what you're doing right there. Because now he said something in the lesson that you don't agree with. I'm not going back no more. Even though it's scriptural based, that's what happened with a lot of people. You know, I done that lesson. Don't watch me, watch y'all. Right? Because it can just be your perception on something that you think that, oh, he real. He ain't what I thought. What did you think? Right? I came to that gathering and he didn't even come pick me up and take me all over town. Was I supposed to? Really? That's what you was expecting? Right? I'm speaking some real stuff right now. Right? But like my aunt right here, he texts me almost daily. He in the book. Finding the nuggets. All right. How does that Revelations connect? I think I got it. You know what I'm saying? Because he in it. He's trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Facts, exactly. He's going through it to look it up to see what it really means. Because a lot of us want this stuff to be shiny just so you can go debate with somebody and look good on camera. It's fake.
Ask them anything outside of what you taught. They try to debate. All right, man. Well, how do I get salvation? Well, you know, Esau ain't the white man for starters. You know what I'm saying? It's because you ain't doing it for the right reasons. That's why it's hard for us to meditate, because nothing that honeymoon thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Get in it for a specific reason. Maybe it's to debate everybody. Maybe it's actually liberate yourself from the quote unquote black unconsciousness. You know what I'm saying? But until you actually into this thing for the person that pulled you into it, the Most High Himself, you ain't gonna get nowhere, because you ain't gonna never do what He say. It's gonna always be one of those times it's like, I don't really gotta. I'm straight if I don't study right now. I'm good if I don't. Man, that stuff right there will lead you astray. He said all it takes is a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the arms. That's all it takes, is a little bit to pull you off of the mission. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nothing distract you. Don't let nothing distract you. I seen a picture, and this is not totally off subject, but a little off subject. I was in Dairy Queen, right? I seen a picture. It was a black and white picture. It was blew up of Dairy Queen, like in like the 50s and the 60s or something. And everybody had on, all the women had on like these long dresses, right? Or like a shirt and a skirt, long skirt, right? And I was thinking to myself, like, hey, even back then, you had women that were quote unquote harlots, right? But right now, when you think of a harlot or a whore or somebody like that, you think of somebody that got on less clothing, right? But just looking at the picture, I tried to figure out. I said, "Dang, this is just my own personal thoughts. Dang, which one of them in there was a floozy?" Right? And I couldn't figure it out because of the way that they presented themselves, right? So it's easy to look like something. Like I said, we come here every week. We look like we here, and I can't look at y'all and say, no, you ain't doing right. Yeah, you tripping. I can't do that. Nobody can do that when we come amongst each other, unless you know somebody's personal situation. You know what I'm saying? But is it about the look? To a degree. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to not look like something. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be out here just all wild with your clothes. But I'm saying, don't just come and try to look like something. Have it mean something under there. Have it mean something here. You know what I'm saying? Have it mean something. Actually be studying the word to get closer to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, anything you ask, you can ask me. Ask the Father in my name, you're going to get it. It's going to happen, but you got to believe. You got to actually be here for this. It ain't going to be dressed up in a shiny package. It's not going to look like $1 million every time you come in here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I try to do my best, you know what I mean? I'm rocking my ox chains, you know what I'm saying? My ox give me chains, my ox clothes, we trying to look like $1 million. You know, but it's not about what we look like or what y'all look like. It's about what's on the inside. Are you really in it to win it? Are you really in this thing to actually receive salvation? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I could rant forever. No. I see somebody asked a question earlier. It says, how do you get your spouse into the truth when they are hitched to? I got like 3 different dudes in my head. So we good on that? Okay, we good on that. Never mind. I mean, ain't no more questions. Oh, I see the answer. Okay, so we ain't got no more questions.
Might want y'all answer too.
Okay, the question is, how do you get your spouse into the truth when they are hitched to Christianity?
Yeah, first thing first, you gotta pray about it. First thing first, you gotta pray constantly about it. Pray to the Most High, there, have a change of heart, and then you don't choke them with the scripture. Don't choke them with it. Just drop little things here, there, and they'll begin to see. But the main thing is praying about it, and then you gotta have the uncomfortable conversation, and discuss the scriptures. Maybe it's a situation y'all begin to study together, bring her around the family so she can see it ain't just you. Because a lot of times, like the spouses that I've been involved with spouses don't come around is because they think that it's just you. Like, you just crazy, you on some crazy stuff. But they don't, really, when they come around, they get to see like, oh, there's a whole bunch of people here. Like, oh, it's, and then that sometimes can win them over, but,
I believe a lot of it is being an example. You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't compromise ever.
You gotta be the example. You gotta be, because like when Mashiach said, the Father sent him in the world to be a light in the darkness, right? And that we the children of the light, but he had to be the example for us to learn how to conform to the way that the Most High wanted us to move.
know what I'm saying? Before that, we was just moving like how the Pharisees wanted us to move. You gotta be the example, an actual righteous example. You can't make somebody come over into doing something and your fruit that you bearing ain't good. You know what I'm saying? Compromising will be the death of your marriage or of your walk. You compromising can cause you to walk away from it. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be that example. You know what I'm saying? An upright example.
When we say compromise, it's not like compromising meaning like, oh, it's Sabbath, and you know there's certain things that we're not supposed to do on Sabbath, and you do it anyway. The compromise for the spouse. Right. Never, ever, ever. Because the moment something come out, oh, I thought you believed in the Sabbath. It's gonna never compromise. Ever. Not even a little bit. Not when it comes to the Most High. You know. Don't ever.
That example. Like you said, come around. Bring them around. Try to. No more questions? Good. That you say shalom. This time.
Here we go. That's good.
Father, Yah, we come once again, thank you, Father, for the word that went forth. We pray and ask, Father, that we would continue to be diligent in our studies, Father, that you would continue to order our steps, Father, and be a light unto our path, that you would continue to impart your word and wisdom upon us, Father. Your word says you have not because you ask not, Father. And if we desire something, all we do is ask it of the Father. And we ask right now, standing on one accord, Father, asking that you would just continue to pour into us your Ruach, Father. Continue to use us as vessels for your word to flow through. Continue to use us, Father, so that we can speak a word of life, power, and strength into your people, Father. And we can open up the eyes of your people as you see fit, Father. That we will continue to grow and be watered by your living water, Father. That we are planted firmly and our roots are spread and strong, Father, by those rivers of living water, Father. We will continue to grow and gain understanding according to your word, Father. All these things, Father, we pray and we give thanks. Hashem Yahuwah Bekaya Hushua Hamashiach Huwah HaKodesh, so be it.
So be it.
Avinu Shabbat Shemayim.
Avinu Shabbat Shemayim.
Ikadosh.
Ikadosh.
Shenka.
Shenka.
Tabo.
Tabo.
Bakuka.
Bakuka.
Yeaseh.
Yeaseh.
Ratzonka.
Ratzonka.
Ba'aretz.
Ba'aretz.
Kasher.
Kasher.
Nasha.
Nasha.
Bashmayim.
Bashmayim.
Tein Lanu.
Tein Lanu.
Hayom.
Hayom.
Likin.
Likin.
Hikanu.
Hikanu.
Usla.
Usla.
Lanu.
Lanu.
Eight.
Eight.
Ashmatenu.
Ashmatenu.
Kasher.
Kasher.
Suki.
Suki.
Anaku.
Anaku.
Lasher.
Lasher.
Ashmu.
Ashmu.
Lanu.
Lanu.
Wa'al. Sabinu.
Sabinu.
Lede.
Lede.
Masa.
Masa.
Ki.
Ki.
In. Hatsalanu.
Hatsalanu.
Me.
Me.
Hara.
Hara.
Ki.
Ki.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamam Laka.
Hamam Laka.
Wahagi Bora.
Wahagi Bora.
Wahati Pare.
Wahati Pare.
Lome.
Lome.
Ulami.
Ulami.
So be it.
So be it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yeah, okay. All right, y'all. We got a couple announcements. About to go grab that book.